Welcome, everyone, to the Global Consciousness Summit preview. You're quite for a treat today because we have a very special guest, and we'll tell you about her in just a second. But first of all, I would like to introduce my beautiful co host, Joy Willett, to tell you a little bit about this amazing event that's coming on June 18th. Joy, tell us a little bit about it.
Well, gosh, it is going to be absolutely fabulous. Everyone has to come and experience what is going to be happening. We have brought together some amazing thought leaders who are going to be speaking about things like quantum reality and the superpowers of intuition and energy, which is what our incredible guest is going to be taking us on a journey today to give us some teasers for the actual event. And the Global Consciousness Summit is where we really want to bring those who are brightening and shining the light for our world so that we can become even better human beings on this planet, especially at this time. There we go.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Joy. I hope you are all on pins and needle, who is our special guest. So let's not hesitate. It is my very deep pleasure to introduce something very special, Tonya Dawn Recla, with Superpower Experts, home to number one podcast network for inspired personal development. It's all about uplifting others, inspiring change, and raising social consciousness. And if you ask yourself a question, what's the big deal? Her network hit 5 million downloads monthly. Okay, yes, that's million and that's monthly. And they've reached the 1.5% of podcasts globally. They must be doing something right. And the leader of that network is with us today. So, Tonya, please say hello to us and tell us a little bit about you, your beautiful background, and your network.
Oh, beautiful. Well, thank you. Thank you for the kind introduction. And hello, everybody. I'm so excited to be part of the Global Consciousness Summit. This is the time, right? This is the time that we've all been waiting for. This is what we've been training for. That's sort of our mantra over Superpower Experts. We've been at this for decades. Essentially, we're social scientists in the field of human optimization, and that's led us. And when I talk about me, my husband Justin and I are really at the helm on this one. And we brought our daughter Neva along for the ride, who started with us when she was 2 and is now 12. And we basically push the envelope in terms of like what's possible for us. And so we have a whole collaborative group over there. We have a collaborative coaching team that works with couples and individuals. We have our collaborative folks who put together the podcast, right? The podcast, like you mentioned, that was kind of a crazy thing. When you get divine guidance, you sort of say, okay. And I didn't. I said no. I'm not going to lie. I said no. When the guidance came through of, the marching orders were awaken millions, bring everyone into the same conversation, and get everyone to work together. And for quite a while, I was pretty much in opposition to that. I kept trying to convince whoever it was, whatever source was encouraging this, that maybe I wasn't the best candidate. So that's sort of our message is when you feel like you're not ready, when you feel like it's not yours to do, and that call keeps coming, there's probably a really good reason. So we help people in that space so that we can see that change in the world.
Well, awesome, Tonya. You are so inspirational, and you and your husband are really on the leading edge of shifting and changing minds and consciousness for being a human being, really on the planet here. So, I have a question though. How did you get started in this? I know that you're in the military and you're in counterintelligence. How does one go from counterintelligence and the army all the way into the spiritual consciousness realms?
Wow, that's a phenomenal question. I'll actually take it back even further because believe it or not, prior to that, I was in college. I was protesting Republican debates and teaching things like critical race theory, which again, at that time nobody knew anything about. And everybody, a lot of people have an opinion about it now, and that led me into all kinds of spaces. And so from teaching at the university level to moving into, like you mentioned, I enlisted in the military with a master's degree at 27 years old, right after 9/11. So
Wow.
9/11 happened, and my world was turned upside down. And I ended up on the doorstep of a recruiter's office, and they looked at me like I was crazy. And I said, "This is what I'm doing, counter intel." And I didn't even really know much about it. Um, but I had been diving into the human psyche for quite a while at that point. And so it was a really easy fit and a place where I felt like I could contribute. Fast forward, right, and then we all get the awakening journey and the activations that occur when we choose to step into something beyond the physicality that we see in front of us. And the guidance that I received in that journey was undeniable. A really kind of rocky road with God, and developing a relationship with the divine. It's all in the book, right? It's all in the movie, but how it fit together was so incredibly powerful, because in there, Justin and I met teaching at the Counter Intel Special Agent course. And when we left business together, or we left government together, we started with a sustainable ranch of all things. So we first chased chickens after chasing spies. And then in that growth period, there was just the most remarkable thing that happened when all of our history, all of our skills, all of the things that we'd been learning, all of the ways each of us had been forged, just sort of started to culminate into this dialogue around superpowers. We had a corporate counterintelligence firm at the time that we had built, and we've since sold. So we were doing a lot of due diligence and looking into businesses. And what we found was there's a lot of misunderstanding in business, a lot of really hurt feelings, a lot of money lost, a lot of lives that have been damaged, because we're not communicating about the decisions we're making. We want to come together to create change, but maybe we don't have a really solid foundation, business wise, for that. And so we get frustrated with each other. Humans are messy when we come together. We saw that in counter intel, we saw that in academia, we see that in business, right? It's everywhere. And so we sort of went into the heart of the matter and said, okay, humans are everywhere. So that's where we're focusing. How do we harmonize humans in themselves, in their families, in their couples, in their organizations? And so our body of work really touches everything, because if we don't figure out how to communicate and connect with each other, then I dare say we're in for some rocky roads ahead.
Well, Tonya, first I want to ask, what was harder, to chase chickens or spies?
It depended on the day.
Okay, so
I would say the chickens felt a lot less treacherous. I don't know, going face to face with suspected espionage characters, that always made me a little squirmy. I'm not gonna lie. So I'm happy to be out of that field.
well, welcome back to the chicken farmland and to our human land. So you mentioned something that's also dear to me and to Joy. This is one of the reasons we launched the Global Consciousness Summit, and that is to bridge the business self and spiritual self. So often people feel that spirituality is something reserved for Saturday and Sunday, something that cannot be mixed with science or career. And what we are proposing is that we are holistic beings, and that when we allow that intuitive side, the higher wisdom, guide us through our lives, all aspects of our existence flourish, including our business as an expression of who we are deeper at the core. So, can you tell us a little bit more to those who hesitate to be spiritual, to use intuition in business, to maybe pursue the principles of law of attraction? Well, how would you encourage them to know that it's okay to be both? In fact, that it might help them in their career.
Beautiful. It's the encouragement comes from the fact that since 2016, I've interviewed hundreds and hundreds of thought leaders, celebrity, government officials, whoever would talk about the fact that we are far more than we give ourselves credit for, right? And in the government, we knew that they were doing things like remote viewing. We've interviewed folks who work on cold cases, psychics who lend their abilities there. Recently facilitated a gathering of folks who were in a missing person situation. Like this is not just woo woo stuff. Like government agencies have been using it, businesses have been using it, right? Corporate espionage isn't just about corporate espionage, right? People are using these abilities I think it's an undeniable path that we're on. I see it as an evolution of sorts. I don't think we're coming off of it. So how do you integrate it, right? It's sort of like all the conversations around blockchain and cryptocurrencies and all this stuff that everyone wants to go, oh, I don't get it. It's like, yeah, and start educating yourselves, because we are clearly going in an accelerated tech path and an accelerated consciousness path. A while back, I predicted that the only businesses that would succeed moving forward were those that were able to stay apace with both consciousness and technology. And we're seeing some huge chasms there. So I keep reaching into Silicon Valley and going, hey, folks, you might want to pay attention to what's happening in the consciousness realm, because we're creating disparate realities. And so those are the conversations that we're really involved with. And what I would say to people was, I got about 10 years ago, I started getting real edgy about this. This became a real soapbox of mine. A girlfriend and I were going to start a company called the Witches of Bizdom, because we were like, what we found was that everybody who's been successful has some sort of spiritual, religious, meditative, contemplative stillness, some sort of a practice that they incorporate. They just aren't fessing up to it publicly. We just weren't talking about it. And so what the Superpower Network did was, we said, no more. We're going to talk about it in mass. And the numbers that you mentioned tell us that we're ready to talk about it in mass, and more people are doing it than we're letting on, which is a big part of the reason I love the fact that you mentioned intuition in superpowers, because in the superpower body of work, intuition is our foundational superpower, and it's so incredibly crucial. So the energy work, the getting to know yourself, the spiritual journey, all of those components create a sense of wholeness that allow us to show up in our relationships, in our families, and in our organizations, bringing our full brilliance, which creates the potentiality for co-creative situations. If we're not willing to do that, the best we can hope for is to learn to cooperate with each other. And that's cooperation, then collaboration, right? If you're not on a developmental journey, you're really ineffective in a collaborative situation, and absolutely kept out of all the co-creative situations. So it's really a matter of, what game do you want to play here, and how advanced do you want to be? Like, you can play the basic game and continue to kind of deny that that's where this is going. But if you step back and look at it through an observer standpoint, undeniably we are evolving into this space. Just look at the or the younger generations, right? I mean, it's impossible to deny when we see the brilliance coming out of those spaces.
Wonderful, wonderful. Yay. Tonya, I am so thrilled that you are going to be coming on as a featured speaker at our summit. I mean, obviously, everyone listening to this can tell that this woman and her organization and her husband and all of her decades of experience has brought her to this point where she is ready to share secrets of consciousness, of becoming a super powerful and conscious, aware human being, and how those all interconnect with your business, with your relationships, with your health and well-being, and even amongst governments, and also that very edgy topic of AI technology and where we are as human beings. It's going to be fascinating. So what I know that when we've got to save some of this for the summit, of course, what are some of you've got a really special VIP offering, don't you, that you're going to be offering to those who upgrade to the VIP from our $11 general attendee price, which is unbelievable that people are going to get 6 hours of incredible content and speakers and illuminations for $11 just for the day. And then for upgrading to $57, you're going to get thousands of dollars of VIP gifts. So Tonya, what are you offering? I am like, whoa.
Tell us. We were here sitting on pins and needles.
Oh, well, you're so sweet. Yeah, folks, it's really a no-brainer. Definitely that $11 price point makes it so that you can hardly afford not to participate. And then to do the upgrade, I got a little behind the scenes peek, and we are surrounded with amazingly talented individuals. And so that's an easy upgrade as well. Essentially, invest in the things that are going to continue to invest in you in the future. And this is one of them. This scope that's going to be outlined for you, as well as the steps and the processes that some of the speakers are able to outline and bring to the table, you can implement right now to start activating the things that we're talking about. So pay attention to where that piece of you wants to spend, $57 for whatever it is that helps you disconnect from reality, as opposed to $57 for something that actually helps you become a co-creator with your reality. It's that, from that lens, I think it's one of those, like, how do you say no? And so thank you for the setup. Of course, I think it's a very special treat because we we have in our community the CIFA process, which we're incredibly proud of. The creative energy field activation is at the heart of everything that we do. It is the secret for how we've been able to accomplish what we've been able to accomplish. And so the gift here is that you get a session. These sessions are like nothing I've ever experienced. And I know you're not supposed to do this. I know, so I mean, everybody said, don't do this. Oh my gosh, people are going to take advantage. Take advantage.
I'm taking
Take
advantage.
advantage.
Have not.
I cannot say this enough. Take advantage. There's a reason why we do this, folks. Mission-driven businesses are here to change the course of humanity. There's a reason we do these things. We don't do them for numbers and quantitative facts. We do it for a much bigger reason. And trust me when I say that we get adequately fed from that. And so take advantage of this, because what that session does for you is it allows you to find that place inside yourself, the you inside of you, right? That governs everything about how you experience the world, right? Many people don't realize that how we express energetically at mental, emotional, cellular, and vibrational levels dictates everything about what we're able to experience. No ifs, ands, buts, nobody else's fault. No, this happened to me when I was a kid. If you're expressing it still out through your system, it returns a vision of a reality that matches it. If you don't care for that reality anymore, then we need to become aware of where we're expressing things that are contrary to what we think we want. This will help you do that. As you sink into this process, it's delightful. It's super, I would say it's delectable, really, because I love my vibrational words and my sensory words. It walks you through a beautiful, quick self assessment, and then you're going to be guided into that heart of you and given some tools of how to get back there. That is your creative center. It's your space. You own it. It's sacred for you. You deserve to know how to find it and how to utilize it so that you can become the person you want to be, so you can have the success in your business and your relationships that you really want to have. Join us there.
Wow, that sounds amazing. If you're just joining us, we are here with Tonya Dawn Recla of Superpower Experts, uh, telling us about the amazing gift that she'll be sharing with our VIP pass holders. And before we close, I just want to mention you actually will demonstrate part of that process during your presentation, won't you?
I will. And okay, so I'll tell you a little bit of the secret, because these sessions
Secret.
are amazing. They really are amazing in the one-on-one container, or if you do one of the couple sessions, you get to be there with your spouse, which is really good, or your couple or your partner, whatever relationship you're in, which is really fantastic before date night. But what happens in a group
Ding, ding, ding,
situation,
ding.
I'm just saying, you could listen to the apple flavored pomegranate podcast my husband and I do to get a little more saucy details on that one. And what happens in a group situation, especially those that every single person coming to the summit has said on some level, I see better for us. I want better for us. I want better for our children. I want better for me. I want better for all of us as this human family. I want us to be who we know we can be, which is things like nice and loving and considerate of each other and whole and reflective of our brilliance, right? We all want this. Trust me, I've talked to thousands upon thousands of people, and everybody wants this on some level. So now as we come together and in that process that you mentioned on the summit, what happens is we operate off of a principle we call the 137 principle in our community. And it was inspired by the idea of where two or more of you gather, there also will I be, which is biblical and is
Yes,
repeated
it
throughout
is.
many different traditions of this inexpressible, encapsulable sort of essence that happens, this force multiplier, if you will, bringing back my military days, when we come together in intentionality. And so when we come together as a group and share this experience, it is like nothing you've ever seen. And you'll have the experience in different groups, and it will be very different, because inherent to CIFA is also a vibrational coherence tool, which fancy words to mean we are connected. And undeniably, when we sit in a space together and go through a process like this, we can feel it. And we remember that we don't have to be afraid of that, that we are connected and it is beautiful. And it is an opportunity for us to extend beyond ourselves in the most beautiful way. And I'll share another little secret that is the next step on the journey for each of us is to find yourself in everyone else. And when you're willing to come together and feel that, trust me when I say nothing will be the same after that. So you can talk to some folks in our community who can attest to that. So come join us. It will be quite the experience. And both are different, right? The individual session allows you to get more deeply in touch with you and your wholeness. The group session allows you to bring that into that coherence with others. Just have the experiences. It's
Sounds,
a
sounds
beautiful gift.
absolutely amazing, and what a cliffhanger. So don't you worry, because on June 18th you will get to experience all that magic with us and with the rest of our beautiful speakers who are coming to join in this beautiful festival of consciousness. So thank you so much. I'm going to pass it to Joy to close us down. Joy, the last encouragement for our participants to hop into this amazing event.
Well, as we've all been speaking, especially Tonya, the time is now. There is no more holding back, waiting for someone else to do the work. We are the ones we've been waiting for. And I just got tons of chills coming through me when I said that. And we know that. So come to the summit June 18th. It starts at 8 a.m. Pacific time, goes to 2 p.m. Pacific time. Do your own math for wherever you're coming from, internationally or in this country. And click on the link below. There's going to be a link here somewhere to click on it, sign up, and get your general pass, and or just go for the VIP pass. It's a no-brainer. And because you're going to get a session gifted to you from Tonya. I mean, my goodness sakes, we're all signing up, and there's
Oh, yes.
thousands of dollars of incredible value to accentuate your life and to bring you into elevated and more accelerated versions of yourself. Because guess what? The world needs you and all of us right now to show up in our brilliance and in our incredible humanness. And we're just going to turn the volume up on what that means.
Well, thank you all for tuning in. Come into this summit on June 18th. We can't wait to see you there. So we'll see you on the other side. Cheers, everyone.
Bye, Tonya. Thank you.
Thank you.